This is the News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, April 26, 2018. Here's what we're tracking. The Director of Public Prosecutions has discontinued the most recent private criminal charges filed by opposition Member of Parliament Anil Nandlal against 3 sitting government ministers. Attorney General Senior Counsel Basil Williams confirmed this afternoon that the private criminal charges against Ministers Winston Jordan, Rupert Roopnarine and David Paterson have been discontinued. The opposition People's Progressive Party had brought the charges of misconduct in public office against a total of 5 government ministers. 2 of the charges were dropped on Monday, and now the Attorney General has confirmed receiving a copy of the order sent by the DPP to the Chief Magistrate instructing her to discontinue the second set of charges. In the last statement from the DPP's chambers, it was noted that the charges were discontinued because such allegations ought first to have been reported to the Guyana Police Force for an investigation to be launched, and the advice of the DPP sought. The first set of charges were brought against Ministers Valdo Lawrence and Dr. George Norton, with the second set of charges being brought against Ministers David Paterson, Winston Jordan and Rupert Roopnarine. The Attorney General today said he supported the DPP's move to discontinue the charges, indicating that her decision came on the heels of advice from him.
They have no evidence. If you have evidence, at least you're supposed to take the evidence to the relevant and appropriate authorities. And those authorities would, if they investigate and had a charge, would have sent it to the DPP for them to look at it.
Former Attorney General under the PPP government, Anil Nandlal, had moved to the Magistrates Court with charges of misconduct in public office after the Special Organised Crime Unit had brought similar charges against former Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh and head of the Privatization Unit, Winston Brassington, for the sale of state lands. Let's tell you now that Town Clerk of Georgetown, Royston King, today rejected the possibility of the cash-strapped council seeking any form of financial assistance from central government. King withheld support for such a move even as the Georgetown Mayor and City Council continues to fall behind in its payment to staff, its payment of utilities, and also has huge bills at the Guyana Revenue Authority and the National Insurance Scheme. The town clerk told reporters that despite this reality, he's not in favor of approaching central government for a bailout. He called on councillors to take action to enforce the collections of specific rates, taxes and fees, reiterating that there are a number of things that the council can do to raise funds. Asked specifically about the non-payment of increases in pensions to its pensioners, King explained that the city treasurer is making arrangements to ensure that pensioners are paid their increases for last year. King said he's hopeful that within the next week the council can take care of this situation and the more than 170 pensioners are paid their increases. He said too that he's also concerned by the council's large wage bill, reminding that with well over 800 employees, the MNCC has a monthly wage bill of $112 million. He also pointed out that the council's revenue on a monthly basis is only $8 million. 1 day after strangling his reputed wife to death, a West Bank Demerara man has now succumbed to his self-inflicted injuries. 40-year-old Nigel Glasgow died early this morning after police rushed him back to the hospital following his complaints of pain. The man was taken to the West Demerara Hospital yesterday after he was found lying next to the dead woman at their Wales home. He was found with injuries to his neck, and it was also suspected that he may have ingested a poisonous substance. After he was treated yesterday for his injuries, he was released into the care of law enforcement as they continued their investigations. According to the police public relations office, late last night, Glasgow was rushed back to the hospital after he started to cry out for pains. He died while undergoing treatment. Neighbors say Glasgow and his reputed wife, Diane Hernandez, appeared to be having a loud argument when suddenly screams were heard coming from the house. By the time neighbors rushed over, the woman was already dead. In the past month alone, 3 Guyanese women have been killed by their reputed husbands. In 2 of those cases, the men died after reportedly ingesting poison when they completed their murderous act. These recent incidents have once again thrown the light on domestic violence in Guyana and its growing problem. And finally, 2 months after being pitched from a utility pole while installing internet cables, a GTT technician has died. The man, David Knott, died early this morning, just 1 day after he was released from hospital following multiple surgeries. Knott had been nursing serious burns and other injuries about his body. It was early on Valentine's morning while installing internet cables on the pole that persons in the New Garden Street, Queenstown area heard a loud explosive sound and saw the technician being pitched from the pole. Passers-by rushed to his aid as he groaned for help. Eyewitnesses recalled seeing the smoke coming from the man's body as he laid on the road, and they attempted to offer help. An investigation was immediately launched by the police and by the utility companies GTT and GPL. It was suspected that he came into contact with an electrical transformer that was located on the same pole. At the time, GTT said safety procedures were being followed by the man when the incident occurred. The company has been paying attention to the man's welfare and that of his family since the incident. And that's the News Source Evening Bulletin for today. I'm Kurt Campbell reporting.